Hey guys, my name is Hap and this is the E100, the all-known pie eater, the old god of tier 10. Probably the dream tank of many people since the start of their career. And even later down the line, the E100 is still a dream tank of many a man, woman or nondescript alike. But is it actually a good tank? Is it worth getting, and am I bad in it? Well, all of those three are a yes, but you gotta know a bit more about the tank, so let's talk about the gun. The gun is pretty decent for the caliber it is. 150mm, 640 alpha, and pretty decent penetration. 258 on AP, 334 on heat, and 85 on HE. 7 degrees of gun depression are also pretty welcome. The reload time is relatively long, over 14 seconds, but it is a massive gun that kind of makes sense. The accuracy could be a lot better. 0.364 isn't great, but you're gonna be usually close to the enemy. It won't matter that much. So how do you do a lot of damage with this thing? Correct ammo usage, module damage. This applies to every single tank, granted, but even more so with the E100. Getting those big numbers really makes a difference in a match too. One other thing I'd recommend that is also relevant to the armor is this. If you're on a reload, angle the turret away from the enemy. Not too much, because your sights could become a weak spot at that point, but I'll explain that right now. The armor is good on paper, 200mm of frontal hull armor and 250mm of frontal turret armor. The sides are all spaced, that helps quite a lot with side scraping. Funnily enough, the rear has more armor than the sides, at least on paper, but that doesn't really matter. Your upper plate is really good, it's around 350 to 400mm of effective armor. That sounds great, yeah, but almost nobody hits that. People much rather aim for your quite massive lower plate. I am not sure if I can make it clear how big the lower plate is. Dead on, it's around 250mm of effective armor. But a lot of the time you're not gonna be on flat ground, people may have a better chance of penning your lower plate. So, you can angle, right? Yeah, but don't overdo that. If you angle too much, people can just go through your drive wheel. I'd recommend to not angle past 35 degrees. After that, it gets easier to just bend the sides, which also translates to the turret. Now, German tanks in lower tiers also had flat turret faces. That wasn't really a problem with them, the turret faces were so small that people aimed for the cupolas instead. The turret proves to be the main problem of the E100. The face is flat and ungodly huge. It is around 280 to 290mm of effective armor, so a lot of tanks can pen that with Pramo, the hell even AP sometimes. And well, your only choice is to angle that away, but again, don't overdo it. 35 degrees maximum as well. You'll still be pennable even then, but you're gonna have a chance of bouncing a few shells. Of course, hiding your lower plate is just as important, and turning your turret away while side scraping also helps. With all of these things in mind, the E100 has a chance to bounce quite a lot. It won't be impenetrable, I'm not trying to say that, but you will have a much higher chance of surviving for longer. The mobility ain't good, but it's gonna serve you okay. 30 kilometers per hour top speed is not, well, great, but it's better than 25, huh? Your reverse gear is okay at 15 kilometers per hour, and for the fact you weigh 130 tons, you somehow move decently well. Effective horsepower is just as bad, and the traverse is pretty bad as well, but it is a fig boy, so what can you expect? So let's just quickly go through the equipment I use on this thing. Rammer, improved modules, optics, gun link drive, enhanced armor, though improved assembly is just better, engine accelerator, and then the vertical stabilizer. I would then go for the toolbox and either the consumable delivery system or high-end consumables. I am leaning towards the former. So what are the pros and cons of this thing then? The pros, well, great firepower, workable armor profile and large HP pool. The cons, well, long reload, unreliable armor, which was mentioned earlier, and poor mobility. Would I recommend it to other people though? Well, why of course I would. This is a classic tier 10 heavy that honestly everyone should have. It can punch hard and tank a lot of shots, but it can of course do the opposite. Treat this thing well and you'll get treated well in return. So without further ado, let's take a look at a fairly decent replay that probably shows how the E100 should be kind of played, and I only have one because I couldn't be bothered to get another replay. So this is that one replay that I promised. Granted, it is only one and it isn't particularly long, so the review isn't gonna be that long either. But I feel that this replay is actually pretty good and it kind of shows how the tank should be played. This is a ratings battle and it is on Hellas. It's a few months old, back in the time when I was still in TXC. As you might have noticed, right now I am in Gneiss. Now, let us quickly talk about the E100. How should you play it? Well, a hardcover is an absolute must for this thing. Especially seeing that you must hide the lower plate at all costs, because very many things will go through that quite handily. Your turret face is also kind of weak and you need to angle that away as well as you can. But other than that, there aren't really that many things that you can do with the E100's armor. Well, here you can see a pretty lucky bounce. And I am trying to aim that shot in, but I don't think I'm gonna be successful, and then a boom, a nasty shot in the mouse. I love that. The high alpha really makes every single shot very juicy and very enjoyable. That is when they hit and when they penetrate, of course. But other than that, you cannot really do a whole lot of things. You can try using your gun depression like that to hide a whole lot of the enemy armor, which is what that E100 basically did, but since his turret was facing us, we could have just loaded the heat and instantly penned him. So, you know, he did not angle the turret away. That was the first mistake that he made. I think there are plenty of many other mistakes, but as I said, the replay is quite old, so I do not actually remember all of them. Nice shot on the mouse. We're already nearing 2k damage. You can see that it's actually pretty easy to rack up big numbers in this thing, as long as you get, well, fairly lucky and fairly consistent. Now, as I have said... Oh, hey, look at this, that's a 50B rear. Oh yeah, come on. Come over here. Nice. We like seeing that, 890 or so. You see, the 100 can do a lot of these things, and that's why I like playing it so much. It's pretty fun when it works. When it doesn't, it's a bit frustrating, of course, but hey, every tank is like that. So other than that, we have hit 100 subscribers yesterday, at least on the 4-hour live stream, which was an absolute shit show, I must admit. But hey, you can kind of consider this as a 100 subscribers video. I have been trying to get this video done for quite a while and I've never had the motivation to do so, but now I finally had that one little bit, that one spark that finally lit the fuse ablaze, and I am actually able to finish this video. Granted, I'm not particularly happy with the result, but hey, what can you do? Back to the replay, you can see the IS-4 being absolutely devastated, and we're just gonna make sure and glue the heat. Bam, done. Nice. So we're already at almost 4,500 damage, and it's 3v3. That is a fairly decent battle already, but this would probably give us a 3rd class only. And the mouse is doing a very, very big mistake. Watch this. Bam, 626 in the engine deck. And we are gonna push up on the mouse, because our ally there is pretty low health, and honestly I do not want to see the chieftain die just yet, because it would make the battle very, very hard for me. Because, you know, I am an idiot. Anyways, let's look at this mouse, and let's just load the heat. Bam, 513, a nice roll. The chieftain has a chance to pen, but he fluffs the shot. Well, what can you do? And the only other enemy there is the 113, which is actually kind of a threat. I take the shot, just to guarantee this one, and I roll fairly well, but since it was heat, I do not kill him. Now, I am pretty sure that the chieftain will kill the mouse, so, you know, I am confident in his abilities, and I am probably gonna try to push on the 113, unless the chieftain didn't kill the mouse yet. So let's see what goes on. And yeah, I'm facing the 113 now, because honestly, yeah. Let's aim that in, nice, 663. That is a great roll, even though it's, you know, kind of average, but hey, for the battle that we had, I'm pretty happy. And as you can see, the 114 can already pin us, so, you know, angle away, don't do what I'm doing. I got a bit greedy and I wanted the shots immediately. Bam, 244, and we are at 7,000 damage. That's a pretty good result for the E100, I would say. So, you know, ace tanker, high caliber, and all of the nice doodads. Anyways, that has been it from me. By the E100. My name is Hab. If you somehow like this video, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. And I will catch you all guys later. I hope the next video is gonna be a bit better.